Hello and welcome once again to the Bike Show. You may have noticed over the last few episodes I've been reporting to you from a variety of lovely locations that were in the eastern part of Bavaria, up against the Czechoslovakian border. But this week, check it out. Best place I've been for a very long time. You want to know where it is? About 20 minutes outside Joburg. Yes, I have managed to make it back to South Africa. The borders have opened up, the flights are affordable, I've had loads of jabs and PCR tests. It's brilliant, it's absolutely brilliant to be back. Just in time, I think, for what the boys seem to have made for me, which is a Suzuki episode. Let's start with Don. He's going to take a trip down memory lane.
As you might know by now, there is a new Generation 3 Suzuki Hayabusa coming out. And that's all very exciting, but not as exciting as where it came from. So we went down to Fired Up Motorcycles and we found this.
It's a Generation 1 Hayabusa, built between 1999 and 2007, and it certainly changed the world, especially for one youngster.
I say more exciting because in 1999, when this bike first came out, my father bought one. Now I was just 17 years old at the time. And can you imagine what a motorcycle like this would do to an impressionable young 17-year-old? I didn't get a girlfriend for years because of this. I swear it was only because of this.
It was a speed machine. Its 1299cc inline-4 motor was the largest capacity for any sport bike at the time, delivering a monstrous for the time 173 horsepower. It was such a sensation that when it was first unveiled, the entire world went,
"Ew."
Yeah, okay, it really wasn't pretty, but it was never supposed to be pretty. They purposefully made it, to use their own wording, grotesque. And they did this firstly so that it would stand out from all the dainty little pretty boys, and also to make it even faster.
The thing is, there's more about this bike than just the looks. They serve a very practical reason also. If you look at the front of this bike, I mean, it kind of looks like a rocket or a spaceship or something like that. And that's very specifically done because this front end, this pointy front end, will split the air and kind of channel it around like that. And more importantly, it'll channel it into these massive air ducts. So the amount of air being forced into the motor is something. I mean, it's a 1300cc motor, but with ram air and at speed, you can just imagine how much more air is actually being shoved into that bike as this whole thing just slips through the atmosphere. And it clearly worked because the Hayabusa was not just fast, it was 23 kilometers per hour faster than the next fastest bike at the time, which was the Blackbird.
It was also measured going from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 2.4 seconds, and it did the quarter mile in 9.8 seconds. It also broke the speed record for a road legal motorcycle at a true speed of 312 kilometers per hour.
Except that this is a 2005 model. Now it's pretty much the same as the 99 model, except that this one has to adhere to the top speed agreement of 2000, meaning it is limited to just 300 kilometers per hour. Spoil sports.
The Busa was known as the king of speed, but that's not what it was meant to be, supposedly. In fact, the people behind the Hayabusa project claim that what they were actually going for was a motorcycle that was good at handling, safety, comfort, riding ability, and styling. Outright speed was never the main goal, supposedly.
I mean, for example, it's really comfortable. The seat is nice and soft. I like the position. I mean, you're not cramped too far forward. You're kind of sitting all right. I mean, the legs are slightly cramped, but not much at all. And it's just a nice place to be. I absolutely love the sort of meaty designer top yoke. It looks absolutely cool. And not to mention the clocks, the dashes. Old school analog clocks. And particularly the speedo. I mean, they're trying to fit so many numbers round in a circle. I absolutely love that. Of course, this is an 05 model, so this clock only goes up to 300. This is actually an American import, so the big one's miles an hour, small ones is kilometers per hour, but it only goes up to 300. The original in 99 went up to 320 kilometers per hour. Do you know how cool it was? Again, 17 years old, looking at a clock saying 320 kilometers per hour. But you know what? It's not just about speed. Nope.
It's about handling too. The twin-spar aluminium frame is long and slung low, and the aerodynamic body hides the multi-point adjustable suspension.
I mean, this bike handles. It does go around corners. It is a little bit of boatiness. I mean, it's not your little scooter commuter sort of thing. But it turns. I mean, give it a little bit of arm work, you're in the corner. You're not going to win any lap records. You're going to struggle to put your knee down maybe. But it is extremely stable. And I don't just mean in corners. Well, in corners it's extremely stable. So while it might be a bit of hard work getting it on its side, while it's there, it's extremely stable. That gives you a lot of confidence. I mean, this bike is, a lot of it is about being stable. I mean, not just stable in corners, but on the straights when, for example, you want to open the throttle. But, you know, it's not about speed. It's not just about speed.
Truly, it wasn't just about speed. And to prove it, the designers named it Hayabusa, a falcon in Japan that was famous for, well, going fast. Okay, maybe it's a bit about speed.
17-year-old me, this is how you do it. Okay, I've only been riding buzz bikes up until this point, mostly. I haven't really ridden any big bikes. So what you do is you find an open piece of road that's completely clear. It's got no side entrances, no nothing. So it's all clear, it's all safe, right? Yeah. Then you put it down into first gear, like I'm doing now. You then grit your teeth, tense your body, take a deep breath, and then... And 17-year-old me has just wet himself. Yeah. What I do love, I mean, that's outright speed. To be honest with you, I didn't actually expect it to be that fast. I'm like, well, I've ridden a load of modern bikes and they're fast, and yeah, okay. What I like about it, it's not just speed at like the top end or something like that. It's just got this broad range of power. It's like a steam train of power, just smashing through the entire rev range. And of course, this bike has Yoshimura exhaust pipes because, especially in those days, all Suzukis had Yoshimura exhaust pipe. It's got rather a nice little soundtrack about it. Wait, I'm going to do that again. I feel like a kid all over again.
To help further with the speed, there were some electronics.
Well, in terms of electronics, I mean, there's a little button over here. Click it to the left and a left indicator starts flickering. Click it to the right, a little right indicator starts flickering. That's pretty cool. You push, yeah, that makes a hooter button sound, and it's got lights, and yeah, that's pretty much it. There's no traction control. There's on this model, the Generation 1, no traction control, no ABS, no up-down quick shift, none of that kind of thing, and no rider modes. I mean, can you imagine in 1999 trying to introduce rider modes on a speed demon like this? People were like, hang on, you want a button to go slower? Really? Really?
Truly, this motorcycle is a legend. It goes down as one of the iconic greats. But its legend is not just for the time, it lives on.
Yeah, Don, I could not agree more, actually, mate. That is a legend of a bike, a cult of a bike, you might say. Cult of a bike, exactly. Look, the new one is going to be, we know, hugely expensive. You had a whale of a time on that. It is, though, quite old. Is it still in good nick? Does it ride well?
It's in really good nick. It's on the floor. It fired up for 89,000 Rand. You know what? It's one of these things where if we had one of the modern bikes here, I would feel the difference and I would go, wow, you know, feel that. But I don't have one of those. So, you know, without that perspective, this bike feels amazing in every single way.
It is a huge amount of bike for 90,000 Rand. It's ridiculous. Well, the Hayabusa is one of those sort of bikes. It always leaves an impression on you. For Don, lucky fella that he was, it was being 17 years old and having one in the magazine empire within which he lived.
I rode it to school, by the way.
There you go. I mean, that's
17 years old, 17 years old. Headmaster was not impressed, but my friends were.
Well, for me, my memory is 22 years old. When it came out in 1999, the Brit Mag, Superbike magazine that I worked for, actually Bill was there at the same time, we went to France, down to Clermont-Ferrand, to the Michelin headquarters, and rode 8 bikes down there for our Superbike of the year, and we all took a turn on the French péage trying to get 200 miles an hour on the clock. that will live with me until the day I die. What about you? You must have something.
Yeah, well, as you remember, the same magazine, I took them speed testing, and we had the very first 1999 model.
Yes.
It was supposed to be the fastest one ever made. And we did a genuine 199.1 miles an hour, which is like 318 k's an hour. But we also realised
genuine because I remember being there.
Oh, yeah.
That there was proper timing equipment. We
Yeah.
had, so you know,
official speed trap.
not
setup,
arguable with.
not off your watch.
But that wasn't the end of the day. You did actually set
then
an
when
unofficial
someone
record.
chirped up that the speed record for a pillion on the back was 172 miles an hour, and we just slapped this girl on and did 178 miles an hour, which is 285 k's an hour, if I'm not mistaken.
Did she enjoy it?
And that was with mirrors and indicators sticking out. I don't know, never saw her again. Local girl.
That would be a no then. She didn't enjoy it. So, gents, the new bike is actually here already. They're having a proper official lap of the country, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Dividing it up into about 6 or 7 legs. Both of you been invited. Donovan, which bit are you doing?
We're doing from East London to Port Elizabeth, and I'm really looking forward to that because it's going to be a whole lot of nice ocean roads.
Yeah, nice
instead
place
of
to be
brown
riding.
Johannesburg.
Yes, that sounds very good. And what are you doing?
I'm doing
The
Cape Town to
longest-
Cape Town.
Oh, I was
Right.
hoping you'd
I've got it for the day to ride round. And apparently there's a hill climb there or something, so I'd like to get involved with that.
That
I like
sounds
hill
about
climbs.
right with you. Yeah, the
But I
least
did have
amount
a
of
quick
distance.
go on it anyway
Oh, have
before.
you? You've snuck a go
Yeah,
on it.
not far, just up and down the road.
And?
So, yeah, well, it's got the world's best quick shifter. It actually
Okay.
feels automatic, but it still feels,
It feels like a Hayabusa, I
it
imagine.
feels like 265 kilogram Hayabusa.
Polished,
But-
lots of electronics.
Hyper refined. Beautifully
I've been
smooth.
getting a lot of hate mail because I've said, oh, I wish it had turbos and wings and something unusual on it. I do feel, look, I've no doubt it will be a brilliant bike. I would have just liked to have seen something on it, you know, whether it's a turbo or a little bit of hybrid or something.
I do think because we come from the era where this was the king of speed, and it's still you kind of king of speed. When you say 188 horsepower, you kind of go king of what?
Yes, exactly. It's not even the biggest anymore, by the way. I think the Kawasaki is 1.4 something
Yeah.
litres now.
1427cc, if I'm not mistaken. And I wish they'd have just put a slightly bigger piston in the Hayabusa and made it the first ever 1500 in
Yeah,
line 4.
15 or 1600. That would have been something worth talking about. It's now the biggest, you know?
Yeah, the biggest
So,
in line 4.
Yeah, stop all the hate mail. I do really like, we all like the Hayabusa. It's a legend of a bike.
it is.
But the new one will be brilliant. Yeah, but I would have liked wings, turbos, 3 litre
Yeah.
V6. or something.
Nitrous bottle.
Okay, yeah, before we get carried away again, we'll take a short break. Back in a moment.